Hello, 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 hello. We are live. Hello, my family, my full circle, Dine 365 farms. How you all doing? We are live. Who is in? Come in, come in, come in, come on, come on in. Let's get rolling. Today is just Tuesday. The week is still very fresh, but it's a special day. Who is here? Who is here? Who is here? We have something very nice to digest this Tuesday morning. It's a very special day. When I say special, you might not understand. Do you know today is the 11th day? As a matter of fact, this is the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in the year of our Lord 2025. So it's an awesome day, it's an awesome hour, it's an awesome moment. Have that reflection. Let it sing, you know. We are privileged to still be breathing, to be alive. With every chaos that is going on in the world, all the turbulence, all the ups and downs in our life. But we want to stay positive, we want to be grateful, we want to look on the brighter sides. That we are overcomers, we are warriors. Everyday life, you need to be a fighter, you know. So if you are having some difficulties at your end, don't sit there and be crying. You are not alone. Everybody is a fighter in their little way. You all might look to be so heavy, so difficult for you to pull along. No, that is not just you. Everybody in this street of life, in this journey of life, we are on the battle. We are warriors. We fight, we conquer, we win in our own little way. Thank you for joining. Please share the live. We have a lot of juice, a lot of gist, a lot of storytelling, real story, real people. Yeah, so welcome to my live. Welcome, come on in. Thanks for joining. Hope your day is going well. It's just Tuesday. We have a very nice topic to digest this morning. Storytelling, real story, real people. The hidden cost of love. What African marriages don't really show you. That is what we're gonna digest. But before we get into that, let's at least talk about today. Today being a very special day. Today is a public holiday. It is a federal holiday. And the holiday we are observing today is Veteran Day. So I want to first of all take a little moment for us to recognize the people that have been sacrificing for us. So today, being Veteran Day, is a special day where we honor and thank all the brave men and women who have served and continue to serve in our military. And I want to start by honoring my own Odugo, my own husband, who also served in the army. He's a soldier, whom I call my SG16, SG16, that's how I call him. If you do not know, now you know. His dedication, commitment inspire me every day. Like many veterans and reservists, you know, he sacrifices so much for our safety, our freedom, often quietly, and it goes without really, you know, hyping them. To my SG16, to all our veterans out there, I want to use this opportunity to say thank you. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for your sacrifices. Thanks for standing and watching so that we can live in this land that is free and to say it's safe. You know, Veteran Days remind us to hold that break. I've said this before. There's a reason why they label a specific day for certain things, because with the busyness of life, with everything that is going on, you know, people will just be busy every day, in and out, days, weeks, months, years, and we'll just overlook at some of these things. But something is really of significance to the community, to the public, to the world at large. They label a day to it. And what does that, those days, when they come by, what does it mean to us? And what are some of the days that you know that they have designated those days for specific things? Like today is the Veteran Day. So when they designate a day for something, mean that thing is of importance, and when that days come, it's for us to like pause a little bit, take some reflection, rethink about what that day actually means. Put some meaning into that thing that they are designating that day for, and then express our gratitude. Like today, the Veteran Day, we are here. This today is being put aside to honor all the veterans, all our servicemen and women, to express our deepest gratitude to those who have worn that uniform. Each veteran has a unique story of service and sacrifice, and every one of them has helped protect our value that we hold so dear. So if you know a veteran, reach out, say thank you. If you don't, still fine. Take a moment to recognize all. They have done a lot for us. Let's honor our veteran not only today but every day by living in freedom they fought to protect, supporting our veterans and their family, and striving to make our community better. These people are people who don't only, they sacrifice their love, life, their family. They stay away. They don't even have a means to communicate. They stand under the rain, under the sun for our sake. And to my Odugu husband, my SG16, and to all the veterans, may you feel the pride, appreciations that you deserve. Happy Veteran Day. I see Abua Benis is watching. Thank you for joining. May God bless all of you. This is my speech that I'm giving out for the I'm addressing all our heroes out there, our servicemen. It's coming from my heart. It's personal. And I'm trying to honor all the veterans, including my husband. So if you know a veteran, drop in the comment, share your gratitude, give them some heart, some thumb up. Let's recognize them for all the sacrifices that they've been doing. So today, that was the holiday that we are observing today. Let's dive deep into our storytelling of today. So, like I mentioned earlier, let's just dig deep into the hidden cost or the tack that comes with some culture. Some culture, it might be all culture in Africa, that is hidden. People don't really talk about it, and what is the significance of that, and what we don't really see, They don't really project it as much, but it's very significant. We are back here again to talk 10 real life stories into real life lessons. Because we don't sit here to gossip, we don't sit here to judge, but we just sit here to use real story, talk from real people, that we can learn one or two things from it, get some reflections, and have rethink. So this morning, we're staying close to what is trending, but we are not, because the whole of this week has really been, marriage talk, especially from our motherland, Africa. So there are certain things that really stood out or standing out in the cultural aspect as far as marriages are concerned, but it's really less considered or less talked about. Hi, Manto Bilingual Mavis. How you doing? I see Can Elvis too is watching. Thank you all for joining. Yeah, so we are here to understand the deeper truths behind the noise. We just hear the big big hunt, big celebrity that were knocking their heads. Ned is a political celebrity, and Regina Daniel is our baby celebrity from birth. She's been in the limelight. And their marriage has come to the internet. He has always been on the internet anyway. When she married the girl, the internet, the whole internet break out. People who were against, people who said, be there when it comes to your own turn. Don't go and look for a rich person and marry. Be saying that it's a grandfather. So she went to the marriage before our own eyes. She projected all the luxurious life, Lamborghini, first class plane, all of those luxurious, soft, sweet, romantic life. And still before our own eye, we saw them left from the Lamborghini and they were on the ground crying. The whole family was in chaos. The mother screaming, the brother screaming, online sympathizer, the husband too trying to vindicate his own self. So they are not the first people. We have seen this before. Believe you me, and we're gonna see more. If I start naming, where do I start? I want to call the big names that we know them. Tonto Dike was married. She had a son for the husband. Before we know, she come out the same way crying. How about Cora Obidi? Married, her own was biracial marriage. They projected all the sweet, soft, romantic that you can think that you are in the worst relationship if your own is not like this. But little do we know that all of these are just screenplay. They are really hiding the reality behind. But the reality can only be kept for a short while, right? Yeah, like we saw, they broke it out and we thought initially it was a prank. But it came to be reality, and now they are doing co-parenting. They're doing co-parenting. In the case of Tonto Dike, when she finally broke out and cried in the internet, one of the big things that she was lamenting about was the husband deceived her with his ancestral lineage. From what Tonto Dike was saying, he presented to him that his father, which is the father-in-law of Tonto Dike, comes from the one presidential family. I think it was Obasanjo, has been the president in Nigeria. So Tonto Dike was really dying for that name and said, if only it could be true that your father was really from the family of Obasanjo, because you know it's but common in the global world. We've seen it. When one person make it out there in the family and the name become a big name. For example, let's take like Dangote of Nigeria is what looked upon as one of the richest person in Africa. Do you know that all the family member, even external cousin, even just acquaintance, people will be naming their children Gote, so that when they go everywhere, let them be recognized, let them be favored, let them be respected, because that name alone is an asset. And that is the reason that I've made a video here talking about the importance of names when it comes to African culture. And I also talk about the new law that South Africa has rolled into their constitution, that men can actually drop their last name and pick up their wife's surname, and it will be legally okay. So names are really big things in African culture. So Tonto Dike, as I was saying to her, if the husband did not lie to her, she will regret that the marriage did not really work, but she will still be proud of the name that her son, whom she bore with the man, will bear. But she came out to make us understand that the husband lied to her, that his father or Tonto Dike's father-in-law was the brother of the former president of Nigeria, Obasanjo, if I've not mistaken the name. And it turns out that the father-in-law of Tonto Dike was a servant to the man. It's not by any way related by blood or DNA. So it was a servant in the presidency during then. And just being the servant in the president, the guy used the name to lure Tonto Dike to things that He's coming from a family that somebody has once served as the president. So their name, Tonto Dike was coming for the name. When she find out, in addition with other things, she was lamenting, she regretted, she felt deceit. So name is a big thing. Name is an asset. It's just like the Adeleke. Everybody will want to associate themselves with the name Adeleke because Davido now is a big name out there. That name now is an asset. It's just like the Obama. So sometimes names. Let's look at the case of Nelson Mandela. I have the privilege to actually visited the residency of Nelson Mandela where he was living before he becomes the president. During the apartheid, before he was captured and imprisoned, my feet has touched the ground where Nelson Mandela was living, his personal residency. They have turned it into a museum. They put a lot of things where he showered, his office, his bed, his shoes. The letter he was writing in prison has been projected on a frame and put everywhere. And one thing stood out for me when I visited his residency as a tourist in South Africa. They even show something like the lid of a pot that they used to block bullets. And all of it has holes of bullets on it. One thing stood out. And what was that? People who share the same culture with me might easily relate. Because in our culture, each home has a tree that they call a fixed tree. That tree I've forgotten the biological name, but the tree doesn't know any season. It lives all season. It remains fresh. Like there's no dry season, there's no rainy season. So it's not an annual plant. The plant leaf, I think they call it perennial or something. It just leaf. It's always fresh. And the common name that people know, they call it fixed tree or yes, fixed tree. I saw that in Nelson Mandela's residence. And the tour guide who was helping tourists who comes to visit the site, because now his residency has been turned into sightseeing, he explained to us that fixed tree that we saw in Nelson Mandela's residence, all the lineage, his brother's children, his brother's grandchildren, his cousins, his nephew, anybody that they call it the Mandiba clan, anybody that is related to that Mandela. And Mandela was the fourth child. I think the last child of 4 children. He wasn't the first. So he has elders. And that was his name, Nelson Mandela. And they call it the Mandiba clan now. All of the other brothers, they don't hear about them. They don't know them. They don't say anything. All the children in the family, they bear the name Mandiba. Do you know why? That name is an asset. And the thing that stood out for me, as I was saying, that I saw a fixed tree in the compound. The tree has spread until it's leaning on the side. The tour guide told us that all the children that are born in this Mandiba clan, in the Mandela's family, their neighbors, people who share the same culture with me will understand the importance of the child's neighbor. When you give birth to a child and they cut the umbilical cord, they leave a little extension that later on will dry out by itself naturally and fall off. When it fall off, it's still significant. Africa is so cultural, and it should be, any culture has a different way that they deal with it across Africa, but people who share the same culture with me can easily relate. So they say that fig tree, all the children born in the Mandiba family, in the Mandiba clan, in the Mandela's family, no matter where you are in the world, they bring that their fallen umbilical cord and bury it under that fixed tree. And they say all the family, they take that name, even their son-in-law. If you marry a girl in that family, I'm talking about South Africa, even before it's becoming a law that men can legally drop their own last name and pick the name of their wives if they are legally married. Even before, they just roll it into the constitution. I think last week, prior to last week, all the son-in-laws of the Mandiba's family, None of them, you don't have a name. When you come, you are dropping your name to people because it's a big name. Nobody will even tell you to do that. That name is an asset. That is the importance of names. Yeah, so I saw the fig tree there in the Mandibas home where all the families, when they have babies and that the umbilical cord, that the little extension that they leave dry up and fall down, they will pick it, take it there to bury it there. My own Odugu has joined. Happy Veterans Day. I already share my gratitude to all the veterans, including you. We acknowledge all the sacrifices that you all do for us, even though it goes unnoticed. Sometimes they don't really hype you all according to the sacrifices. The time you standing under the rain, under the sun, missing the family. Today being Veteran Day is just for us to stop a little bit and really recognize the work that you all are doing. And to you, my SG and all other veterans, and I say thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart. We know your sacrifice, we see it, and we appreciate it. Yeah, so like I was saying, the ongoing story of Regina Daniel and Ned has opened many eyes. Not just about fame, not just about worth, but about the African idea of marriage, power, and tradition. So, like I said, we're going to digest something that is really not talked about when it comes to African marriages culture. The hidden cost of marriage. There's a tax to marriage in Africa. Do you know that in Africa, when for the groom to actually show their interest, the grooms and his family, that they are interested in the bride and they are serious about what they do, there's a token that is being exchanged between the groom family and the bride family that they commonly call a bride price. And that is the hidden cost, or the price tag that comes with marriages. That is so significant that they don't care how long you live with a man, whatever you build with a man, how many children you bore for the man. If that price tag, that little token was never exchanged, they don't look you like belonging to the family of that man. They don't look you like you have the marriage was really consumed traditionally. Yeah, so you see, my Seiko, this story is not just about celebrity Regina Daniel, Ned Nwoko, the political celebrity. It is about us, about how our culture defines love, and sometimes how it destroys it quietly in the name of respect, or because of that tag, that token of honor, I don't know how to put it, that was exchanged between the groom family and the bride family. Let's dive deep into the bride's price. In many African homes, when a man wants to marry, he must bring the bride price. Not just as appreciation, but as proof of seriousness. We have seen situations where a man that has not done that, and you live with somebody's daughter, maybe you bore children with her, you build other lives, asset, life memories, a lot of things. It will come to a point, if the girl passes away, the family of the girl has the whole right to say, you never, that token was never exchanged. That bride price were not paid, so you do not honor our daughter. You cannot bury our daughter. We have to bury her. It's so significant up to the level that you as a man, if you marry somebody's daughter and you have not paid that bride price, that token of honor, that token that proves your seriousness, and you bear children with the girl, both boys and girls, both female and male children. When those female children are at the age of marriage, you cannot collect bride price from their own suitor, from your own potential son-in-law that is coming, because you never paid it for their mother. And if you want to cross that line, if you want to clear that out of that block, that roadblock out of your way, and you don't still have that something, maybe, you know, because it is cultural, it differs from family to family, it differs from community to community, but there's always that token of honor that is exchanged between the groom and the bride family. That is arranged, that is agreed upon. The groom family has to plan to come and see the bride family. They see, they tell them how, probably the way the family does their own, probably the way the community, or the I don't know, the lineage or the custom of the people, what they believe in. So they agree upon amount, or whatever. Some people pay in money value, like in cash. Some people pay in items, like the Fulani in my community. I know they will tell them to bring a certain number of cows. When I say cow, I mean cattle. Up to the extent that if a Fulani man has a lot of girls, he in his mind already know the amount of cattle he will eventually have in the future from his potential in-laws, son-in-laws, or the suitors to the daughters. Some people pay in like in Nigeria, we hear about tuber of yams, jugs of palm oil, firewood, different things. You know, even goat, pigs. Some people just collect money. They can just levy you, bring this amount of money, maybe in 100, which sometimes it can come at any time. People who really want to do things right and clear their way might want to come meet the parents of the bride, talks that out, get to an agreeable whatever item, amount of money, then they settle that before they actually officially marry the girl. And it's always very sweet and good when you do that prior to marrying their daughter, because that will open road for the parents of the girl and the girl's family to actually wholeheartedly give their daughter to you, then participate maybe in the traditional wedding, celebrate and be happy, acknowledge you as a new in-law, and then also give you respect because you have done what the culture demands of you. Some people, when they come to meet the bride parent to negotiate that, and after the negotiation, what is being presented to them is more than what they can afford at that time, or they don't really have it, they can postpone. They can agree that I've heard your demand, but I'm not in the position to fulfilling it now. I will still go ahead, marry your daughter, and then down the line, I will come to fulfill the condition. So it's never really a specific time that it has to be done. But if you have not done it, but you are keeping that girl, and you married the girl, you have children with the girl, you don't have right to accept that from your own potential son-in-law if you did not do it for their mother. They will skip it, or if you are still not at the level that you can actually clear that, to clear your own way, because it's like blocking you from receiving from your own potential son-in-law because you did not do it for their mother when it was your turn. Maybe you have so many girls, you tell one of your potential son-in-law to do it to their grandparent on your behalf. So you have nothing to do with it. You're one of your daughter, they'll do it to their grandparent or to your own in-law. Then eventually now when they clear that, eventually down the line, your road now will be open. You have the capability to accept from them. So it's very significant in African culture. It's very significant. So this price tag, when it's being paid, some men, they feel honored. They feel like they can talk amongst their peers. They feel like, yeah, I have fulfilled the obligations that was expected of me before I could marry this my beautiful girl. And now that I've fulfilled those obligations, I own her. She now is mine. So in that aspect, it will look like, because you commonly hear the word, the bride parents sold her to her husband. That word soul has always been used. It's not just now in ancients of days. Because of that token of exchange, you have been sold, depending on whatever amount. So when your husband or the groom's family pay that token, they claim ownership of the girl. They claim ownership of the woman, because according to them, they have bought it. At that point, your girl's child has been looked upon as a commodity. You sold. You actually label a price that was paid, and you collected the money, so you no longer have any authority, any right, any say over your daughter. Your daughters, you have transferred your ownership. You have transferred your any say in her life. You have transferred decision making in her life to the husband by taking that token. It's a price tag. And men feel that the more you pay for that price tag, the more you are entitled. And after the ceremony, you start hearing things that I paid for you. You are mine. You are my property. So, sometime I want us to really look into the bride. Please be dropping your thoughts in the comment. Participate in this live. What do you think about the bride price, the price tag that is being attached to the grooms, to the bride when the grooms come to ask for her hands in marriage? What is your thought? How has that impacted marriages according to your own view? So when that happened, when the man pays that token of honor, that exchange, even if the wife down the line, the marriage is dissolved, or the marriage does no longer hold, let's say we're just married traditional marriage, which is recognized in African custom, in the customary court, is recognized. If down the line the two goes there both way, for that marriage to actually be concluded, that is dissolved, it's no longer a union, that union is no longer there, regardless of whether they are kids or they are not kids. The family of the bride, sometimes, if they want to keep their dignity, out of pride, to save their daughter's head, to cut your connection from their daughter, your control, your everything, they say they want to return whatever you pay, the bride price. They say they will return the bride price to the groom's family. And it takes the kinsmen, because when they come to pay the bride price, depending on the family's setup, depending on the family acceptable way that they want to give out their children, normally on overall, like 90% is always the father of the child. The father might call his own kinsmen, his own family, his own brother, to come to acknowledge with them that he has collected the bride price. Some just do it silently, some do it with ceremony. So to return that bride price, some people can just do it quietly. Some people will still want to call the kinsmen of the grooms as well, because it's always the groom's father always comes with his own kinsmen to meet the bride's father with their own kinsmen, and that exchange happens. So when the marriage is no longer going and they want to dissolve it, they want to, like, okay, this is cancelled, this is call off, the bride's people want to go and return the bride price. Sometimes they want to kick their dignity in that, oh, our daughter was not a burden to us. Initially, you have good intention. You promised to treat her right. We trusted you. We hand over our daughter to you. But as it's not going, it was because of the trust that mutual understanding we have that we accepted the bride price. As our daughter has left or is no longer with you, please, we are coming to give back your bride price. So that they don't look at them that even though my daughter is not, your daughter is not still with me, but you still have the bride price I pay. Some family of the grooms, in some cases, they will accept the bride price to be returned. Some, because they still want to keep their influence on that girl, they still want to own the girl as they initially will, even though the marriage maybe is not going on a good terms, they are not on good terms, they are separated, they don't live together, they will not want to take it. And it's always a problem because it's a big deal once that token of honor has been exchanged. And still looking at the aspect that when the token of honor, when that bride price has been paid, it's a big contributing factor that enable women as a whole in Africa not to be looked upon by the society to only roll on a certain level. They don't live their full capacity, like they don't excel the way they feel within. They have societal limitations. When some men see a powerful woman with a lot of ambitions, it looks like a threat to them. And sometimes there's always power clash. There's always conflict. So sometimes the bride price, what was meant to unite family, often become a subtle way of owning a woman. So, as I was saying, sometimes when the bride price was never even exchanged, if the woman passed away, regardless that you have children, your parent will still want to claim your corpse. After all, your husband did not pay anything, no dime. They will look like you just pick our daughter on the streets, and then you go and start having your children. You did not do that traditional honor way to come and see the parent, to acknowledge, to show yourself officially that you are the man who has seen their daughter. You fall in love with your daughter. You want to come and beg them. At the same time, let's look at it, because it's really an honorable culture, as I can put it. Because when the man actually come and fulfill that to the bride's family, it's an honor. It's a way that you really come and show yourself officially. Because normally they look like, if the grooms and their family, you that you want to marry the bride, you are on the begging side. You are the one seeking favor from the bride's family. So you always come with peace, with softness, all the goodness. You show all your hunter man warriors that you are capable of taking care of their daughter first of all, assuring them that protection, assuring them that providence you provide for their daughter. The daughter will not go hungry under your roof, accommodations, and then showing that you always be there for the daughter, not only the daughter, the family of the daughter. Because as I mentioned in some of my previous videos, marriages in African culture is not just the spouses. It's not just a man and a woman or two people coming together. It's two families coming together. You marry everybody. You marry even plus a domestic animal. Everybody that has a hands, or even their friends, family friends, acquaintances, they are part of the marriage. So the bride price tag, the bride price paying is really an honorable thing in African marriages and in African culture. So when you come, that is like that is a sign that both family has unanimously agreed. They have unanimously showed their consent for this marriage to go ahead. You are fulfilling. Like I stated earlier, it's not obligatory to comply with that before you get married to the girl. You can accept and postpone it and say you will do this, but not right now. Probably you have some priority. Probably maybe you want to do like the civil wedding. People will want to do that. Maybe church wedding. You look like maybe incur more expenses that you want to put some of the obligation or some of the demand that were asked for you during the traditional comes together. On the whole, you do all of this, then eventually down the line, you fulfill them. So my question will be, is it right? So let me hear your thoughts in the comment. Is it right when the bride price is being paid and the woman left her family, the parent of the bride has accepted, the bride who has loved the man the marriage has been united, the marriage has been joined, bride price has been collected, the woman goes and meet the husband, they live together, God bless the marriage, they bear children. Several years down into the marriage, something happened, the children are there, and the marriage can no longer hold. Probably it's domestic violence, it's toxic, it's some form of abuse, maybe emotional abuse, financial abuse. Just it's not something that everybody has visibly seen, that these two people are no longer compatible, and even they'll advise separation. They'll tell them that, run, we better, you know, be single and still be alive, or than to remain there. Probably you want to cover your children because you already bear children in the marriage. You want to stay in for your children and stuff like that. Everybody will advise, no, this marriage is no longer going. The two of you can separate. And after that separation, your parent or the parent of the bride be like, now that the marriage is not, the union has been dissolved, we want to come and return the bride price. Sometimes it's the parent of the girl who willingly want to go and return the bride price because they want to keep their dignity. They just want to free their daughter. They just want you to cut off from their daughter. Sometimes it's actually the groom's family coming. They be like, now that your daughter is not still with us, can you give back what we pay to you? Yes, we have to take back our bride price, regardless of who is asking. My question to my audience, to all of you, my family, put your thought in the comment. Let's hear. Is it acceptable? Is it right? Because this is something that has been happening in history. They have been practicing. Is it right for a girl who has devoted everything, leave the parent, go into marriage, and then that token of bride price is never really anything? Because you cannot say that you try to cover the cost of expenditure that you've spent on raising your daughter. It can never cover it. It's just a token of seriousness to show that, yeah, you are serious in this marriage. So that little token that was given, I will call it little because it can never mount to the value of a human being. A whole human being that is leaving his father, dropping the father's last name, leaving everything to come and start a new family with a husband. So do you think it's right when that marriage does not hold and the idea of returning the bride price is being brought up? Should it even be something to be talking about at that point? Especially when that woman she has spent probably 5, 10, 15, 20 years, 40 years. Problems always come in marriages at any stage. You can never tell. That woman has spent all her life, probably has worked towards the success of that marriage. They have built stuff together, maybe buildings, maybe they have lands. They have brought children together. And besides her years that she has spent in that marriage, you coming to take back the bride price, or you want to pay back the bride price. Can you restore her life? So what do you think? Let me hear your thoughts in the comment. Please, you all are not pumping the heart. It's easy. Touch the heart. Share this video. What do you think? Should bride price even be something to be talking about? To be thinking that when the marriage doesn't go, they should return it. Either maybe the groom's family is the one asking for their money back, or the bride family want to give back the money because their daughter is no longer in the marriage. What is your thought? Let me know in the comment section before we proceed. If you are enjoying the story, if you are enjoying what I'm digesting here, digging into African marriages, the hidden price of love that is never really spoken about, the bride price, the tag, the token to marriages, please give me some heart. Now let's relate to the case of Regina and Ned. Because they are our famous celebrity and they are trending now. They're the talks of the day. You open your blue apps, whatever, which one you go there, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, is Regina Daniel and our celebrity political Ned. So when the marriage doesn't longer hold again, okay, I see one person has contributed, which I appreciate. He said, for me, I think the bride price should be returned if the marriage is no longer working. Why should, when you say, yes, if the marriage is no longer working, they should just go their separate way. We are not forcing it to really remain, somebody to remain in marriage. Okay, she's giving her reason because that's our own marriage. Okay, I like your point. Okay, because when they do they go to the court of law to get married, they sign a legal document issued as a marriage certificate. Traditionally, that bride price is our own marriage certificate. But look, you know that the tradition never really look into how much time you have put in that marriage, how much you have contributed in that marriage, and what are you living with at that point. But with a civil marriage, on the other hand, when you go to the court of law and you sign, they issue that certificate, there's a lot of things that come into consideration. They'll look, okay, this is, if you are going, sometimes you might hear of something like spousal support. Even though you are no longer together, but you still support your spouse, depending on who is on that position, who can support. So the civil wedding look into this. They don't just let you go empty-handed, even though you spend this number of years into the marriage, and a whole lot more. There's a whole lot. I being a financial professional, there's still another thing. I can talk to you here when it comes to marriage and for people who have married in the court of law, especially people in the diaspora who have something we call SSA, Social Security Administration. Put it the way you want to put it. Do you know that if you are living in a marriage for 10 years plus, and that marriage is no longer there, and you've been legally married, even if you remarried, do you know that your ex-spouse can still benefit from your Social Security? Those are things people don't know. So the civil marriage actually put in some consideration when the marriage doesn't hold, when the marriage cannot still, the union has been dissolved. You know, you don't just fly away. They look into it, they see there are some clauses that they have to meet. But with the tradition, people are quick to say, we are returning the bride price, or bring my bride price that I paid. But they don't give you anything. They don't let you, especially the woman. And that is where I was driving to. Because in Africa culture, even when a union bear children, it's by default they know that the children is the man's children. After all, they take the man's last name, right? It's the man's children. So if you are living as a woman, you will likely live just like that, just the way you come. They will even ask you, when you were leaving your father's compound and coming here, did you come with a child? Unless that man is really somebody who is running away from responsibility, that will even let the woman go with the children and doesn't even ask them how they are doing or anything. Yeah, so that is the thing. If they want to return the bride price, you know that they normally don't consider anything. The only thing they are looking at that point is that, oh, this marriage is no longer working. So maybe it's dangerous. Maybe it's harmful. And in 99.9% of cases in Africa, the woman is always on the less privileged when the marriage is not gone. The woman is probably always the one that is in danger. Very few cases you see where is the man that is in danger, or the man that is being trouble or violence or, you know, abused. Not that there are not men who are being abused by women, but 99, almost 100% of cases in Africa is always a woman that is on the less privilege or less advantage when the marriage is not going right. So they always look like the children belongs to the man, and automatically you, the woman, you are going where you're empty-handed. But Africa being what is it, a lot of men don't really want to face their responsibility. I'm sorry to say that, but it's the reality we are seeing every day. In that case, in those cases, you see most men, they'll even chase you and the children. They say, go, follow your mother and go. And in that way, it's a way of relieving them from their responsibility. And they will never ask you as you leave, how are you doing with the children? How are the children coping? How are they eating? Even some men, as I speak with, women under their roofs don't still know how a day goes by. They don't know how children fit. They don't know how their women, where they get their clothes to wear, how children go to school. Even them, if they come back and that woman, poor woman, has not prepared something, they will fight the woman, even though they did not provide anything for her that can enable her to prepare meals for the family. That's our African men, but that was not the topic of discussion today. The thing I was talking about was just that price tag that people overlook at it, but it has a lot of significance. It has a lot of influence in the marriage. Once that token of honor has been exchanged, it has a lot of significance. First of all, you the man now, you are very comfortable. You can sit anywhere and call her your wife. You can sit anywhere and say, I'm married, with no fear, because you pay the bride price. And that is why you hear they say they don't do small thing for my head. That small thing, they're very important. That small thing, they're very important. And even up to the extent that some family, that the groom's family that have failed to do that small thing, that bride price, that token of exchange, token of honor, that prove your seriousness. If you fail to do it, there are life happenings that happen. Maybe it's a barrier in the wife, in the bride's family. You are not allowed to partake officially because, according to them, at that point, they don't know you. You did not officially come and do what you're supposed to do. Maybe it's a wedding. Maybe it's a child naming ceremony. And there are a lot of, so it always clears the way for the grooms to actually, navigate their way around, feel okay, feel comfortably around the bride's family, intervene in family functions, comes to family event. If it's burial, because you've already paid your bride price, you already know you're on duty as an in-law, you know you are doing this. It makes you really feel okay and feel free, and then intertwine with the grooms and the bride family, do things. But if you have not done that token of exchange, when the groom's family has presented their daughter to you, like the one who said their daughter, and you don't buy it, but you take their daughter without paying that money, it's a problem. But then now look at it again. When you pay that money, when you pay that token of exchange, token of honor, that bride price, especially when they pay more, they become more entitled. They be like, I pay for you, you are now mine, I own you. They say, don't play. I did not borrow you. Didn't your father did not tell you that I finished my obligations? So at that point, when they pay the bride price, your father don't have any say. Your father cannot really control, even though they still have influence, but your husband on you at that point. That is when that ownership really comes in. I wanted to reference it to case of Ned Nwoko and Regina. Ned has been popping the internet back and forth, trying to vindicate himself. He has dropped the latest message stating that, for the record, people say that he married Regina at 17. Regina was born on October 10, 2000. He married Regina when Regina was 19. He honorably married Regina. That the presence of her family there shows their consent. And he is a traditional man, and tradition does not frown against polygamy. So he doesn't see anything that he did wrong. He married Regina honorably. He involves the family. He gave Regina a name, and he treated Regina with dignity. That's his latest post that he posted online. Now Regina, on the other hand, is crying that she will take the children from Ned. She will raise the children. And then she says she has a lot to say about Ned, but she's preserving that name, Nwoko, because that's the name that the children will grow up to bear. And then she said these are boys. If they were girls, she would not care, because girls don't have a name. Women don't have a name. When that token of bride price has been exchanged, that is when you lose ownership of your father's name, your father's home, even your father's property, unless the modern society is trying to change the narrative a little bit. We know across Africa, women don't have right to ownership of property. You don't even bear your father's name. And your children don't bear your name. So that token of bride price, that is when you as a girl, as a daughter, that daddy's princess, that is when your daddy's princess-ship ends that day. Now you cannot bear your daddy's name. Now your daddy cannot even, if he has the property, he cannot include you when he include you in the sharing. You are not on the list. You are no longer his responsibility. You don't have a space in your father's home anymore. If you ever come there now, you're a visitor. Because of that token that was given. And this very aspect of bride price make the African culture look a woman different. They have a different regard to a female child. That was the idea that was blinding our parents. They look like they cannot sponsor their girl's child to school. They look like when you put in a lot of money to sponsor a girl child, you are preparing another person's property. If that child become a district officer tomorrow, he will not be coming to your compound. He will not be bearing by your name. That money will not be coming to your pocket. So why even invest in a girl child? Why put in all the money on a girl child that will end up in another man's home? So because of that bride price of a teen, that take away ownership from the father of the girl, that soul is like they sold your rights, even you as a girl. It has brought African backward a little bit, that things are changing. We are revolutionizing. Even some very upright parents now, they don't look at whether you're a boy or a girl child. And no one renounced somebody who was an agricultural something center. He owned a very big agricultural base that even volunteers from the foreign country comes there. He owns different properties. And he said this is his ideology. Both girls and boys. So long as you are my child, you have a portion. I have to label that down. That is yours. Even if you get married, you are going into that marriage with something. And if tomorrow the marriage doesn't work, you have something to hold on to. And do you agree with this? If you do, let me know in the comment. Because if you empower your girl's child, believe you or not, that child being empowered, a girl child who eventually get married, cannot be disrespected in that marriage, cannot be treated as a property, cannot be underlooked. Even though that token of exchange happened, even though that price tag was paid, even though that bride price was paid, your daughter will be respected, because it's not a burden. It's not just a housewife. It's not just coming to be fed by the husband. It's bringing something of value. And the husband will respect your daughter. Because with or without your husband, your daughter will live. And that will come to reduce some of this domestic abuse and violence that our women are going through. So let's not be deceived by some culture that doesn't work for our advantage. Let's rewrite the culture. It's our roots. We are not running away from it. But we can make it in a way that nobody will be oppressed because of the culture. You cannot deprive your daughter of all the opportunities that this world offers, just because you think that one day you will end up in another man's house. He will not bear your name. If he is the president of the country, that the presidency is not your name. It's not it's not coming to your compound. Let's stop depriving our daughters of that privileges. The world has eyes now. We can see, we can hear, we can read. And come to think of it, look at the few girls that have stepped those boundaries. Look how they're excelling I am a living example. If I was not educated by my parents, I wouldn't have been sitting here ranting. I wonder where I could have been by now. So let's still respect the culture. That token, nothing sweet passamo. If you are keeping somebody's child in your house that you have not seen the parent and pay that amount that has been agreed upon, please do so, because you don't know what you are missing on. First of all, it add your dignity as a man. It gives you that pride, that confidence. Even though you can say, I now own you. Yes, you now own us. We accept. But do it and on us is the tradition. And then you parent, we parent, don't deprive your child of the opportunity, your female child, just because you think that one day they will end up in another person's home. They will not bear your name. Regina is lamenting that if those two boys, if those two children were girls, she wouldn't mind. Because we African knows that a woman doesn't have a name. Hi, Prince Will. We know that a woman doesn't have a name. She said if they were girls, she would not mind because they will grow and that name will not even mean anything to them. Now, I just touched on different aspects. I touched on the importance of names, and I touched on the importance of bride price in African culture. And now we are seeing a country rolling into their constitution that a woman's name is still as good to be accepted by the husband as women has been accepting their husband's last name. So it will come a time that the name of a thing will no longer be a problem. I've also narrated a scenario that we see names that are assets. Some names are brands. Some names are money. When I say asset, you don't understand. Just at the mention of that name, doors open for you. Those kind of names, for somebody who knows, even if your son-in-law that is marrying your daughter and you are the person who have that name, we'll talk of Dangote, we'll talk of the Mandiba clan, Nelson Mandela, even the Adeleke now, and you name it. Your son-in-law, as a man, that Odugu, will silently drop his own last name to pick your daughter's on, because that is the name that will bring something to their pocket. That is the name that even their grandchildren will hold on to. Just at the mention of that names, all the gates, all the doors, all the opportunities, the advantages will be flowing in, because somebody somewhere has once worked for the name, and the name stands tall amongst other names. So there will come a time that name, with as much value as we put into it, name is a pride to a man. You understand? Sometime South Africa has started, which is the next country that will follow. Culture, tradition in my motherland. So Regina wants her children. Her husband has already given her a bad label even before the court of law, even though Regina has stated that if there was any legal document stating that she's married to Ned, she could have long filed for divorce. So since there was nothing, at the most, she will go her to her home, and as is common, her kinsmen will go to Ned and say, take your bride price and cut off, because once they return that bride price, that line is cut up. They don't care you have children, but you don't longer have control. Even things happens in each family, maybe you just do it partially for the sake of the children that she has born for you. You know, so that is only when you can be free. Another aspect of this bride price. Do you know that if a man has paid bride price on your head, if you have been sold to a man and they bought you, and down the line, the marriage is not working, and you carry your two left legs and you run, you, the woman, leave the marriage and say, no, I cannot do. I don't do again. No. Down the line, if you meet another man that you want to do now with a different man that another man has already bought you with money, and your family has not returned his money that he used to buy you with, even in the new marriage, If you have children when that bride price was not returned, tradition still count it as the children of your old husband. Do you know that? If you knew, drop it in the comment. Let's hear. That is how powerful my culture is. That's how powerful African culture is. That's how powerful when that token of honor has been exchanged. Even when you have children by another man, because the first man has already paid that money and it was never refunded, those children, by tradition, it still belongs to your former husband. And a new husband cannot come and pay that second price for the second time when the first one was not returned. It means they cannot take a bride price twice on your head. They have to return the first one before they take the second one. These are some of the aspects of the whole thing that some people don't know. I thought it was necessary to talk about it because we've seen this Regina and Ned Nwoko. These are typical traditional marriages. They never went to any church to wait. They never went to any court, civil court to wait. They waited traditionally. And now the marriage is showing that it will no longer hold. Or at of this point, can we say they are separated? Because Regina is no longer with Ned. So if Ned chooses not to collect the money that he paid on Regina, according to African tradition, Regina can move on. Regina can remarry too. Regina can stay single and even have other children. But so long as that money has not been returned to Ned, she is still considered as Ned's wife. She is still considered as Ned's property. Even if she go and have new children outside, it's still Ned's children. And eventually down the line, if she goes to the end of life and pass on, according to African tradition, her corpse JJ going back to Ned's compound. Because of what? The bride price tag. And some men are so great, some are so cruel that they don't want to take that money. Not because they really want to have influence in your life, but they just want to frustrate you. They just want you not to have any peace or any afterlife when you left them. They just want to still have that attachment. Throw that money that they bought you with. In quote, because that's how we commonly say. When you pay and they take, that is selling, right? You sell and you collect. Your grooms come with money and your parents have you. That's exchange. Trade by barter. Give me money, I give you my daughter. And even with modernity, some family has come to conclusion. Some family has come to that point that when a potential suitor is coming to marry their loved ones, their daughters, nieces, their princesses, they just call both of you, two family, put you on the ground. I mean, food is not something that they can refuse. We eat everywhere. We go to funeral, birthday, anniversary. We eat. With paying or not paying before we get into the event, we eat. It's just food. So maybe the two families just come together and they exchange. Kola nut is also a very big significant in African culture. If you don't know kola nut, go to Google and look, Google it out. Kola nut, the Coca-Cola is being produced from kola nut. So spare cacao nut, you see. Some family has come to term that if you are really genuine, to show your seriousness, if they eat that kola nut and they drink the palm wine, very significant in African culture, they just want peace, they just want respect, they just want that family mutual relationship. Definitely they don't need the bride price. Definitely they don't want to look like they have sold their princess to you. And of course, they don't want you to claim that ownership and start treating their daughter as a property because you paid and now you own. You can do whatever you want. And definitely because they love their daughter, they don't want their daughter to look at them as, oh, my father sold me. And they still have a room in their home for their daughter. A lot of people do that now. Before they give their daughters out in marriage, they say, this is your room. And it will remain your room. Even though you are no longer living with us here, We have accepted to give you part of our heart. It's so difficult, but as nature have always stated, when a child grows, you can leave your parent and form your own family. And that is what we are doing right now. You have our full support. But at any point, if it's not going, come back. This is your room. Do you think if a situation like this, your daughter will be desperate in somebody's home? Do you think even with the man whom your daughter is married to, will the person rough-handle your daughter any way they want? No. So I'm just trying to bring awareness. I just want to create like teachable moments. Things are changing. If you are that girl who is listening to me, your parent might not have it all. Your parent might not meet your expectations of providing, of training you as a child. That is their responsibility to train. But there are a lot of opportunities now. The world is so open. The world is so global that nobody will perish because of lack of information. The Bible says it. My people perish for lack of information. There are ways to connect now. There are ways to network. There are ways to build yourself. Children are building themselves by themselves now in Africa. It has been happening before, but mostly boys, because boys take greater risks than girls. But I'm really talking to my sisters, big and small. It's not about marriages, so, because we have been looked like that upon ages. Even in classroom, when I was in secondary school, I had one teacher. That was the math teacher. You know, math is a subject that a lot of people don't like. He normally, put out this slander. You men, sit here and be comparing with these girls. I was making us feel like we are something. He said, be comparing with this girl. You don't study. Remember that you have to be that man to provide for them. Remember that you sit in this class, they will not even finish this school. Somebody will come from abroad and marry them. And they will just be big woman. They don't have to struggle. They don't have to suffer. And that narrative that marriage was ultimate has killed a lot of mind that could have been developed. Because people used to look at girls like, okay, as you've been given birth, they were bent on teaching you on domestic behavior, domestic manners, how to behave in the man's house, how to behave as a mother, how to behave as a wife, how to respect your in-law. That is the highest education that was given to a girl child. But it's not, it doesn't hold true. It's no longer true. So if you're that girl listening to my voice, there's a lot of things you can do. Don't settle for less. Don't settle for short-term enjoyment. Persevere. Good things take time. Organic things takes time. Have something doing. And in whatever thing you are doing, it must not be something very famous. It must not be something that you obtain through the four walls of secondary school. It might just be traits. It might just be the cooking that we've been bent on teaching from a childhood. They teach girls, children to cook, especially because they know that you will be a domestic wife. Even just that cooking, you can still generate income and earn a living from the cooking. But anything that you do to empower yourself, you have to stand beyond the competition. You have to spice what you are doing. Are you a salonist? Are you updated with the modern styles that somebody can desire and come to your salon? Do you know the latest style? Do you know how to make your business go more? Do you know that you can wake up and then you cook one pot of achu? You sacrifice to gain. You cook nice achu. For those who don't know achu, look it on Google. Cook a nice meal. Put it. Tell your customer that every Sunday, if you come and do your hair in my salon, you eat free. You do your hair in my salon, you eat free. See how many people will come. That's how you will grow. Are you that person who shaves? Do you do nails? Make some promotions. Do you know that if you come to my shop 3 continuous times, instead of paying one session of nail is 500. Instead of paying 500, 3 times, that is 1500. If you come straight 3 times, I will give you for 1200, 1200, and see the numbers will increase. So try to empower yourself. Whatever thing you are doing, the little thing you are doing, spice it up. Make it in a way that you can stand above the competitions. Before you go into somebody's house, find yourself first. Before you find a lover, before you find a partner. Put value into yourself. I'm talking to my sisters. Before someone will value you. So we've seen in the world of today, it is not only today. This little girl, Regina Daniel, when she married that man, I know a lot of people the life she was living, they were aspiring. She already have something to do. Even when she leave the man, she might just drop from the class she was living a little bit. But she, she has a career. She was not empty-handed. But that idea of women used to think that as this life destroy me, so if I see some Odugujo can pick me, go. I don't wear. Unless you don't want freedom. Unless you don't want to enjoy. Freedom does not mean that you will not stay with a man or you are head to grow when you stay with man. No. Let's start regarding freedom in that aspect. Then you, my brothers, listening to me. As I stated, if you are staying with that girl that you have not paid that price tag, better do your obligation. Oh. There is joy in doing that. There is pride in doing that. But then, on the other hand, knows that once you do that, it's just a mutual coming together. It's just a mutual exchange. It's just a mutual understanding. It's not by any means somebody surrendering their rights, their God-given human rights of existence, bowing down that they don't longer have a say in their own life. They already accept your name in a way. The children, the boy will accept your name. Isn't that a lot? Isn't that something big enough for you to appreciate her? Letting go of her father's name. Most women are really conquerors. Most women are warriors. But if you support her dream as a brother, if you support what she's doing as a brother, you are hearing me. Guess what? All the glory and honor will still come to your name that she has already accepted. Hardly will you hear, when they say Dr. Mrs. Ngo, Dr. Mrs. Babila, Dr. Mrs. Amambua. So, you see, they give that last name, Dr. Mrs. Boshe. She is a doctor. But now it's your name that they are sounding, She is a pharmacy, but it's your name that they are sounding. Isn't that honor enough that she has brought to your name that you have to treat her with respect, even though you bought her, as they put it, you pay the bride price, meaning that you bought her. So don't limit them, because when you support their career, when you support their dream, when you empower them and that growth come, guess what? Even if you go and do some charity somewhere, they will still say Mrs. is your name that they are sounding. Her father's name is not even mentioned. Her own last name that they gave to her, or her middle name, they will put it. It's not her. It's still your name. So let's grab that with respect and honor. Let's do what the culture demands, but let's not abuse the culture. Let's not pass through the culture and abuse